All right, welcome back. Episode 223 of Chaotically Intolerant. We have a little bit of baseball at the top. Sadly, it's a little more predictable than we had hoped for. We hoped Milwaukee would put up a little bit more of a fight. And then the NFL, week 6 and 7. Week 6 was crazy again. But before we get into that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's go. All right, Mike. So we got to start off. The romance of our generations is over. I just saw this come across my desk. Ana de Armas and Tom Cruise are broken up officially. I really hope those kids are going to work out. Those crazy kids, man. I thought they would do it.
Wasn't she with Ben Affleck at one point, or?
Yeah, they were in a movie together, and I think I don't know. He was taking pictures of her on a beach or something like that. I don't know. But I just felt like Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas was weird relationship. Felt like we needed to address it. The fans needed to hear a statement on it from us.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, not surprising.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into baseball. We're going to start off with the one that just stinks. It's really sad. The Dodgers up 2-0 against the Brewers. I want to start with the jumping out of the way of a pitch. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to blame a batter for jumping out of the way of a pitch in the moment. That is a muscle memory type of thing for these guys. You have to make a good faith effort to get out of the way of a pitch as well. You can't just stand there and just let it hit you, So I think if you're mad at this guy for doing that, you're kind of a loser. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's just instinct. You ball's coming at you at 90 miles an hour, and what are you going to do? I mean, but swinging at a pitch over your head, that was over anxious.
That's
and I felt
bad.
like, the Brewers missing that opportunity. They had a chance to steal one. Teams going down 0-2 at home. I don't know exactly the number. It's extremely low coming back in a series. So it's such a shame. It's such a shame because I thought the Brewers were a little less fraudulent this year than in years past. The peripheral numbers were good, the runs, the run differential. But the difference between all these teams and the Dodgers is you can't withstand injuries. They don't have the money to spend on the depth. And Brandon Woodruff being hurt, how can you get to this point in the season and have one true starting pitcher? I just don't understand that. Freddie Peralta is their only starter. You mix and match, you expose all these guys, you overuse your bullpen. I don't know how you can afford to win. At least the Blue Jays and Mariners have a semblance of a rotation. And look at what the Dodgers are doing. It's just ridiculous. Like last year was the year to get him. Ohtani wasn't pitching. Buehler and Flaherty were their second and third starters. I mean, now it's an all-star team. I don't care what anyone says, and other owners are cheap. No, it's an all-star team. They have spent the money to win, and they're going to win again. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and I don't think we recorded before the Phillies game 4 loss. Was it game 4? They lost in 4?
It was game 4, yeah.
It was 4. And the brain fart essentially at the end of that game. We did not get to talk about that. It feels like the Dodgers they're getting away with a couple here. And I think that is something that you see from championship teams. Like they always get away with it a little bit. There's always a moment where you have to rely on the other team to have a fuck up, and that's why they aren't a championship team. That's why the Phillies weren't a championship team, and that's probably why the Brewers aren't a championship team.
Right. And you want to blame Orion Kerkering for that? It's ridiculous. Blame the Phillies for scoring 1 run in 11 innings. Blame them for being in that position in the first place and missing their chance to win in game 1. Kind of the same vein as the Brewers. I mean, they had the chance. They had the Dodgers on the ropes at the end of game 1. Sasaki gets out of it. Brewers knock Sasaki out and get Blake Trinan. You have no one to blame but yourself. It's a throwing error. It stinks, but that's completely on the Phillies. And you're just seeing that the Dodgers were just taking it easy all year. They were better than their record because they blew a lot of games, but these teams, as you know, they don't get motivated until the postseason. When you're this good, it's actually harder to be good in the regular season.
Yeah. It's just like I don't know. It's what we knew all along. We knew that they were really really good, and I think everyone was just hoping that they weren't as good as we expected them to be. That's why everyone was quick to bury the team. But no, like sometimes it's a little bit of a paralysis by analysis type of thing where you're just looking. It's not that deep. Basically, it's not that deep. The Dodgers are really fucking good, and that's the only thing you can say. And clearly, they've showed it when it matters.
Yeah, and I don't want to go down that road. You know how we feel about the situation. There was a great article from Jeff Passan, how do you pronounce his name? There's another one in the Wall Street Journal.
Passan.
This Dodgers Brewers series, this Dodgers Brewers series may very well be sort of the tipping point in the upcoming labor dispute. There's going to be some form of a lockout in 2027, and I think the fuel for the owners now has increased. I mean, assuming the Dodgers win this series, go on to win it all, and they'll be the heavy favorite next year. I think they're gonna stand. MLB is gonna stand firmer on doing something to curb this because it is ridiculous. And people say, well, other teams spend, the Mets spend, the Yankees spend. Nobody spends like this, and they have the advantage of being in Southern California. Ohtani opens up the Japanese pipeline. I get that those are things that baseball can't really control. I sort of saw this happening that's why I was so happy we had Rangers Diamondbacks in 23 because I thought Ohtani's going to sign in LA and they're going to become a super team because they've been close. They've been a dynasty without the rings. Now they'll be a dynasty with the rings. So it'll be interesting to see how baseball uses this series as kind of the some ammunition for the arguments that it'll have for a salary cap. And by the way, Bryce Harper being Mr. I don't want a cap. I respect the Dodgers. You're a loser if you don't. Well, I don't know how Bryce is feeling right now because his team was the loser. So,
I still support the floor before I support the cap. I think a floor is more important right now. I think the bigger problem in sport now, obviously, you can point to the Dodgers and say, look, they're back here again after winning last year. But I think the bigger problem is just these teams have no interest in spending. There are certain teams that have no interest in spending and putting out a competitive product. Maybe if these teams have more interest in spending, you see different teams in the playoffs and teams are more likely to beat the Dodgers. It's cutting the talent pool. The talent pool thins out, and that's why there's a Dodgers team that's able to do that. Now, there should be a salary cap as well, but I think if you want to go that route, you need to put the floor in first and say, look, if the floor is going to work, a cap can help, even things out at the top because we need to even things out at the bottom. I think first, because I think teams like the Rays and A's and there's these teams that refuse to spend. I think it's ridiculous, and I think that hurts the game more than the Dodgers are hurting the game because we're still getting a battle in the American League, and you're going to have that hope that, hey, maybe the Blue Jays or Mariners can go on a run in the World Series and beat the Dodgers. And the floor, it's just there's like 4 or 5 teams that you can just say, like, I'm not this team will not do anything. They have no chance to win games this year because they don't want to spend.
I don't know about the floor. The floor seems easier to circumvent than the cap, number one. Number two, I don't think a lot of these, I think the owners are all rich enough to pay. The problem is a lot of the actual teams don't generate anywhere like a fraction of the revenue what the Dodgers do. The TV deals, merchandise, gate. So I've never been one to just say it's always the owner's fault. Now, there are definitely owners that don't spend. There are definitely owners that buy into more of like, we can do this with the money ball approach. But the Dodgers, you have to understand, that's what he gives more of this. Merchandise, ticketing, and their TV deal is insane. I mean, them and the Yankees, like that. And then the other part is, who's to say that if the Rockies, let's say the Rockies all of a sudden, Dick Monfort grows a heart and says, I want to sign Kyle Schwarber and, I don't know, those big pitching free agent this offseason, whatever. We want to sign a couple of
trade for Paul
guys.
Skeens, just
Paul
out of the, yeah.
But I would say that they could then put and say, all right, we're going to put out big offer. Schwarber's going to look at it and say, well, the Rockies are the Rockies. And then he could go to the Dodgers and say, here's what Colorado's offering, match it. They're always going to be able to match it. So I don't know that I think the owners, a lot of them are discouraged. And I hear comments from Monfort, and I think he's one of the most reviled owners. But I hear comments that say like we're discouraged because we can't even, even if we did try to spend, it doesn't guarantee that we'd be able to. So the deferred money thing is the one I hate the most. Now other teams have done it. The Nats did it quite a bit, but I just don't. I don't think it's going to matter for the Dodgers. It's not going to affect them in any way. And I think they're setting their team up this way now because if a cap does get implemented, they've got all of these superstars locked up to long-term deals with the deferred money. Like I think this is more of they know what's going to happen in a few years. They are trying to get this remaining window and stack their team as much as possible.
Yeah. All right, and then let's talk about the interesting series because I don't want to harp on this all episode. Blue Jays Mariners. Nice little northern rivalry here. We might be set up for a really, really good series. Maybe one of those where the home team doesn't win at all.
Yeah, it's only happened twice ever, and it was both involving the Astros in 19 and 23. And funny enough, you know who was involved in both of those series? The guy who's pitching tonight, Max Scherzer, is on the Nationals and the Rangers, the team who won those series. Now, in this case, his team doesn't have the quote road field advantage, so they'd have to win one at home to win the series. But I think the Jays, there's one thing that really stands out to me, a difference of these two teams, and it's why I think Toronto still has a pretty good shot to win the series. Well, it's twofold offensively. One, the Mariners simply do not hit for average. They don't. They mask their offensive deficiencies by hitting home runs. And even though they've been a little more effective this postseason, I just don't think you can win in a postseason when you're hitting 219 as a team. Conversely, the Blue Jays are hitting 300 as a team. They also have more home runs than the Mariners, and the Blue Jays put the ball in play. They put the ball in play as well as anybody, and that's a big, big part of things, I think. Although it looks like they've actually struck out a little bit more, right? Oh, no, sorry, that's pitching. Okay, good. I didn't want to be proven wrong there. But they don't strike out. And so the ability to continue to generate pressure on the opposition gives them a real advantage. And I think Seattle's got to be thinking like, all of a sudden, we were up 2-0, but we better win tonight because if it gets to 2-2, we've essentially lost the home field advantage, although the road teams will be 4-0. But we won't be able to close the series out at home. Shades of 2001, perhaps. The Mariners lost the first two at home, actually went on the road at Yankee Stadium, won 14-3, and then lost the next two. So maybe this is the same blip on the radar for them. But I think this is going to go at least 6 games.
Were game 2 or 1 and 2, was that just like a continued momentum from this Mariners team of you're riding so high after the walk-off on Friday night? I think it was. Was it Friday night or Thursday night? Friday night. I mean, are you riding the momentum there, or is that like a Toronto team that was just resting for a little too long?
Maybe a little of both. I think it's like that Seahawks team that went to its first Super Bowl. They hadn't won a postseason series in a very long time, and they really had to slug through that first game, and then they blew out Carolina in the championship. Well, Seattle hadn't won a division series. They won a wild card series, but they hadn't won a division series in 24 years, and they had to go to the full limit. So I think there's some sense of like maybe they were breathing a little easier. Maybe the Jays were a little rusty, but Seattle has really good starting pitching. I don't know why Kirby was in the game as long as he was last night. We see all these pitchers with managers with really short hooks, and then we see a guy give up 8 runs in 4 innings. You just don't see that anymore in the postseason. But they'll have Castillo going tonight. My guess would be Brian Wu would be a piggyback as he's back on the roster. I think both of these teams have pretty obvious strengths, and I think we've kind of seen both of those come to the forefront at different parts of this series, and I think that's what we'll continue to see.
All right. So give me your World Series prediction based on the first couple of games of these series.
I still think I have to stick with Seattle and the Dodgers at this point. Well, I say stick with on Draft America. I picked the Jays, but at 2-1, I don't know. I'm torn. I think it's going to be really close, but I think Seattle will get there. I think it'll be Dodgers, Seattle at this point. So I'm jumping ship a little bit on Draft America, but I would not be shocked if the Jays prove me wrong.
That is the ultimate good guy versus bad guy right there. like a Seattle Mariners team who has never won a World Series. They've never even been to a World Series, and a Dodgers team who we're just sick of seeing. Like that is the ultimate. I want to see the map of like who the world is rooting for in this series. And like
Right.
one little tiny blue dot in LA, and then the entire just earth is covered in Mariners blue, because who else is rooting for the Dodgers besides LA?
I can't imagine anyone.
I don't even think. I mean, who's the Mariners' biggest rival? I don't even think the biggest rival is rooting for the
I don't
Dodgers.
know if they have a natural rival. I don't know if they have one. I mean, the Astros, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, and the Angels, just based on geography, I guess.
Maybe the Giants would make more sense with the A's when they were in Oakland. I don't know.
The Yankees, they just hate them. I think the Yankees. I don't even think they think about the Mariners.
I don't know. I do think it'll be nice to have someone to root for in this year's World Series. Though last year we got stuck with Dodgers, Yankees. My God.
Yeah, just didn't want anyone to win that one.
No.
All right, let's go into Week 6 of the NFL. Let's start with Thursday Night Football. Jackson Dart and the New York Giants knock off the Eagles. The Eagles have now lost 2 in a row. And if we remember correctly, in between week 4 and 5 was kind of that turnaround for Philly where they put the gas on and we started to see them turn into that Super Bowl team. They started 4-0, didn't look amazing. And now, they lose week 5 and they lose week 6. Are we looking at another Philly collapse here? I think is the more important question.
I don't know if we're looking at a Philly collapse, but we're looking at a team that I don't know what's going on. Is Saquon hurt or something, or how come he's not running at all?
Yeah.
It seems like they're not getting any touches. Maybe a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. Maybe just the fact that they've won so many freaking games in a row, they're going to lose a couple. I wouldn't hit the panic button. This isn't going to be 2023 all over again. I don't think. I think the Eagles are still the best team in that division and still near the top of the NFC, but obviously that was an eye-opener Thursday night. I just don't know why Barkley's not running the ball a lot. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm missing something there, but it seems like that's the bread and butter. Are they just maybe trying to give him a little bit of a breather for a couple weeks? I don't know. It's odd to me, but hey, good for the Giants. Scatterboo and Dart, they've got some young energy. It's nice to see.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, I thought this was the best he's looked so far. Just poise in the pocket. I mean, he was standing there and taking shots, all game, and he just stood tall until he was taken down. Giants wise, I think they're going to be a team with some fight. I predicted them to go, win the wild card. Take that 7th spot in the wild card. So we're going to see some fight out of this Giants team. I'm hoping they go to the playoffs, maybe like a 10-7, 9-8 season, squeak in, maybe give someone a fight, maybe give the Eagles a fight, because I still think they are the best team in the East. We saw that on Monday Night Football with the Commanders as well. But I don't think that carries as much weight right now as we think of them, as being the best team in the East.
Right. Too bad they don't have Malik Neighbors, Giants.
I know. That's a big loss there. To London. The Lunder is incredibly safe in this one. Broncos, Jets, Broncos 13, Jets 11. I'll say this. I don't think this is incredibly shocking that the Broncos came out and kind of laid an egg. The defense won this game, and that's honestly, for a playoff team like this, after a big win against Philly, this was the letdown spot. You're going to London against a feisty Jets team who is, they've put up a lot of fight in a lot of different games, and you still come out with a win, even though the defense carried you, even though the offense looked anemic. I think this was a win morally for the Broncos, and obviously on the record, but I think this is more of a, hey, we fought, we came out here, nothing went our way, and we were still able to find a way to win. That's a playoff team.
Right. Yeah. Well, when you hold a team to -10 net passing yards, 10 more yards in sacks than pass yards, because the Jets have been putting up some points. Yeah. Kind of the game that the Broncos needed to win. And they found a way to get it done.
Yeah. If you lose this game, I think that Philly game maybe has a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth. Because you say we spent all our energy on this and then we lost to the fucking Jets in London.
Right.
That just, it doesn't feel as good. I think now you're feeling good now. Like, you get the bye week. I think the Broncos are going to be fine. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I don't know how far they're going to go, but that was an important game for them to win in any way. I don't think it mattered how they won that game as long as they survived. So good on the Broncos, even though Bo Nix, horrible fantasy week.
Right.
Steelers Browns, just a continuation of the Steelers dominating the current Browns. This franchise of the Browns.
Another just uninspiring, I don't buy into the Steelers kind of win. They get it done. This is so typical of the Steelers. I read nothing into this game. It's just Steelers beat a bad team. They pad their record as much as they can until they start playing the real teams. That's all this is. That's all I have to say on this game.
Yeah, this was an incredibly uninspiring game to me as well. I see that, people are putting the Steelers at like top 3, top 4 in the NFL. Show me the inspiring game that we've seen from this team. Like I'm gonna look at their schedule right now.
Like
Steelers Jets.
They beat the
34-32. Lost to the Seahawks 31-17. Beat the Patriots 21-14 after New England turned the ball over 5 times. Beat the Carson Wentz Vikings in Dublin 24-21, and then roll over the Browns. I mean, there's nothing inspiring about this team. This Sunday night, we're going to get a real test. Not this Sunday night. Next Sunday night, we're going to get a real test. They're going to see the Packers, and then the Colts, and then the Chargers. That's 3 games. We're going to see who the Steelers team really is in the next 3 games. And I have a feeling they are going to not pass the test.
Yeah, they're going to get exposed. Definitely.
But they get the Bengals tonight. They get Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco loves the North. Just loves it. And on the Cleveland side, I don't know. They're bad. They're the Browns.
Tomlin said he couldn't figure out why they traded Flacco.
I love Mike Tomlin. He just loves throwing little jabs at people. It's so funny. Like the Anthony Richardson jab, that was hilarious. Just do anything but bring him down. Like keep Anthony Richardson on his feet, and they couldn't even keep him in the game because Anthony Richardson was Anthony Richardson. Chargers Dolphins, the epic in Miami Bowl, I guess, right? But this Chargers, this is chargering. Like I'm not doing it again with the Chargers. I believed in them after 3 weeks. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, 4 times, however many times the Chargers have fooled me. I'm done with it. I'll never, ever, 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 ever believe in the Chargers again. They beat the Dolphins 29-27. They have not looked good since they won those 3 straight AFC West games. This is not a team that I'm worried about in the playoffs.
No, not at all. McConkey saved him with that great 42-yard catch at the end of the game. I mean, that's all that was. They got a nice Kamani Vidal. That was a nice performance by him, but it's just they barely beat a Dolphins team that is such a mess. So I'm not really sure.
I mean, they are dysfunctional. They have a quarterback calling guys out in press conferences, like openly. Mike McDaniel, where is Mike McDaniel? I haven't heard a word from Mike McDaniel on this topic. Maybe I just missed it. But like this Dolphins team is so, again, uninspiring. There's nothing interesting about them. And you let them hang around in this game. I mean, this was a game you're supposed to kill the Dolphins here. They're supposed to win this game by 30 because of how bad this Dolphins team is, and they couldn't do it. If you're a playoff team, you have to hammer the Dolphins. Their games: beat the Chiefs by 6, beat the Raiders 20-9, beat the Broncos by 3, lost to the Giants in New York, lost by 17 to the Commanders, and then beat the Dolphins by 2. This is an incredibly uninspiring team. And they're going to have a test with Indianapolis this week. So we are going to get to, we're going to get to see, what they're made of here. Not good though. Not good. You have anything else on this one?
No.
Patriots Saints. Drake May is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. I'm saying it. I'm sorry. if anyone is mad at me for saying that. I'm mad that the Patriots are good again. How long we had 6 years with the Patriots? Not even 6 years, because they were good with Mac Jones that 1 year. Like 4 years of the Patriots being bad, and then they're just good again. And they have a great head coach in Mike Vrabel.
They do. Patriots don't run the ball effectively. I think that'll be something that'll hinder them down the road. But yeah, May, very impressive. This was one of those just find a way to win. They go to play Tennessee. The irony of that, with Vrabel going back to Tennessee, and they just fired the coach that placed him. This will be another, doesn't have to be impressive. Just go on the road. And this is going to be 3 straight road games for the Pats coming up this week. So, yeah, I mean, look, we said the Saints are feisty. They did put up a fight. But New England, even though they only ran for 2.5 yards a carry, they found a way. May had a couple of nice deep balls. I'm with you. I don't know if he's top 5. He might be top 10, though.
Drake May in quarterback rating, or in passer rating, is 5th in is 4th in the NFL in passer rating, and the number 1 guy is Lamar Jackson, who played 4 games so far.
Right.
So I'm not even counting him. And quarterbacks that have played in 6 games, he is 3rd in the NFL. In completion percentage, Drake May is number 2 in the NFL behind Jared Goff. In yards, he is 5th in the NFL. In touchdowns, he's a little further down. He's tied for 9th with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other players. In QBR, Daniel Jones is number 1 in the NFL in QBR right now. That's pretty awesome. He is 7th. So I think he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now. That's crazy. Good. I mean, good for Drake May. He seems like a nice guy. He just very, very chill dude.
Yeah, and the Pats did not turn the ball over in this game. So, the more you can be efficient, not make mistakes. It's probably, a good Mike Vrabel hallmark.
Yeah,
you're gonna win. You're gonna win more games.
And Kayshon Boutte, receiver for the Patriots, homecoming for him. He played at LSU. He's from Louisiana. He bought 40 tickets. That's crazy. 40 tickets for his friends and family to come watch him at the Superdome. And he had a great day. I believe 2 or 3 touchdowns today. He had 2 receiving touchdowns, 5 for 93, and he had a big 3rd and 11 reception late in the game that ended up leading to the go-ahead touchdown. So good for him. That's awesome. Rams, Ravens. Was it raining at this game?
It was like overcast, drizzly. Yeah,
it looked sad. It looked gross and sad.
And that's been the Ravens season. They gave Lamar another week off for the bye. People seem to think him coming back is going to change it. It's not. I mean, the Ravens held the ball for 38 minutes in this game. They outgained the Rams. They were decent on 3rd down. They just found a way to lose. They can't go on with Cooper Rush and Tyler Huntley. You need a better backup quarterback, and you certainly need to have a better defense.
The Rams, I don't really know what to think of this Rams team, because, you go back, this game, they should have killed the Ravens. There's a lot of unnecessary mistakes. You lose in overtime to the 49ers. The Colts basically hand you the game. Block kick against the Eagles, kill the Titans, and win a 14-9 game against the Texans. Not saying they're a bad team by any means, but I think they need to go out and they need to prove it at some point. This London game, I don't want to put any weight in any London game ever. I don't care I don't care if it's fucking Chiefs Bills in London. I don't put any weight in those games. The players, they are just not it is not the same type of game when they go over to London. Like, their next test, I would say, would be Seattle or the Bucks. And that's 3 or 4 weeks away. So I don't think we're going to find out who this Rams team is for a little while. But they win. They win ugly. Sometimes that's all you need to do, especially when you're in a little bit of a funk. So cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Jags. Seattle gets a big win. The Jags, I have a bad stat for the Jags that I just love to see. In the 4th quarter, after they pulled within 8 points, they ran 3, 9, 12 offensive plays after they pulled within 1 score. That's the Jaguars for you. That is just the Jaguar way. That is why I don't believe in them. I know they beat the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Good for you. But the Seattle team, this you have to keep pace with Indianapolis, and we all, the Colts almost gave them a loss today, basically. And just they couldn't get it done. You have to you have to score. I don't understand how you run 12 offensive plays between 3 drives after scoring the touchdown to pull within 8 with 13 minutes left in the fourth.
I'm not a big believer in Jacksonville, but I do think Seattle's pretty good. Sam Darnold is making Seattle look good for investing in him. 3-0 on the road. Jackson Smith and Jiba, really, really good.
He's having a top 3 wide receiver season right now. Like, he's top 3 in the NFL, I would say, as a receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, he's clearly taken the DK Metcalf spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
But and obviously, like, someone would say, oh, what did Seattle do in the fourth quarter? 3-play drive ending in a punt, 3-play drive ending in a punt, 4-play drive ending in a punt, and then they put the game away on a 7-play drive that just ended in a kneel out. So just really, like, again, uninspiring. In the moments that it really matters, Jacksonville wasn't able to get it done. Not good.
Right.
Yeah, they're still 4-2, but it's just that's a game a 4-2 a playoff team has to win. A division winner has to win. And they're just opening. They keep the door open for you the entire fourth quarter, and you can't just step through it. Yeah, you're good. I was talking through it. But they're leaving the door open for you there, and you can't 3 different times. It's not like those drives that Jacksonville had or Seattle had were competitive drives. Like they gained 30 yards, got to midfield, and then stalled out. They didn't even do anything. That's the uninspiring part. Colts Cardinals. Indianapolis escapes a weird pregame. Charvarius Ward runs into Ogletree and gets a concussion in pregame warmups. And then Anthony Richardson is doing stretches with the elastic band again on a pole in the stadium. The pole breaks and hits him in the eye and fractures his orbital bone. So he's put on IR. Then the Colts signed Brett Rippon on Monday or Tuesday as a backup quarterback. And all these injuries happened in the time frame that the Colts could not elevate anyone from the practice squad. So they were just incredibly thin at cornerback. I mean, Lou Amarillo came out and said, listen, if anyone in the secondary goes down, they have to come off the field. I don't know what I'm going to do. We don't have a plan for this. And the Colts are winning, but we've seen at the beginning of this season just a lot of undisciplined stuff. I mean, the Rams game, clear, lack of discipline. These things, lack of discipline. The pole thing, Anthony Richardson, that is just a freak accident. You can't blame anyone on that. But there needs to be more separation when you're in pregame warmups. Like, why are these guys getting so close to each other? Why is that even happening? Lots of just like dumb penalties from this Colts team at times. And again, I mean, this is a younger team. It's the beginning of the season, but it's just undisciplined. And I think Shane Steichen really needs to hammer this stuff home. That they got to be better in those little intangibles, and those little moments. But a lot of adversity in this game from the Colts. Jacoby Brissett comes back, for the first time. Or not the first time. I don't believe it was his first time back at Lucas Oil. It might have been. But he played great. I'll say that. Jacoby Brissett looked really, really good in this game. I believe that Cardinals team is a better team without Kyler Murray, with Jacoby Brissett versus Kyler Murray. And, the Colts, they stepped up in the moment that it mattered. Got away with one at the end there in the end zone on Trey McBride. I think it should have been a pass interference penalty there in the end zone, but it is what it is. And Jonathan Taylor is just the guy who puts the game away. Like, having that guy there who can just put a game away on the ground is so important for any team hoping for a playoff spot. So really cool. The Colts are good. I haven't felt this way in a really long time. It's a weird feeling, but here we are. It's awesome.
Yeah, you covered it. I don't have too much to add, but always good to find a way to win. Like we were saying, you're facing your old quarterback. You had to come back and win. I mean, Arizona, I agree, definitely a better team without Kyler Murray. I think that experiment is just over. But yeah, Indy was 4 for 4 in the red zone too. Like that's such a hallmark of teams that have a chance to go somewhere. Is teams that are actually efficient when they have opportunities to score.
They've been very good all year in the red zone too. It's not just this game. I mean, they're actually finding ways to put it away, and I think part of that is having Jonathan Taylor, and part of that is having Daniel Jones, who does have the ability to run the football, but he's not a run first guy. He can extend plays with his legs, and I think Anthony Richardson, he just didn't have the passing ability. I think that was incredibly clear. I think anyone would tell you that he just couldn't throw the football accurately. He could extend the plays with his legs. We saw, and I want to say that like Anthony Richardson gets a bad rap considering he did have some moments. I think when people look back at his career, they think he was all bad. He was all horrible. He did have moments. I mean, the Rams game, he brought us back down 21 in the second half to force overtime. There were times where he looked like a competent quarterback, but it clearly did not work out. But this Colts team,
I mean,
man, I'm
Colts,
excited.
yeah, they're good. They're good, and one of the best third down teams in the league too. So
they're the number one team in the NFL right now. I'll say that. They are record wise, they are the number one team in the NFL. So that's pretty awesome to hear. They do have a test. I was talking to my dad about this, and he thinks that the Chargers are a test. I just don't believe. I think the Chargers game will be competitive. I'm not saying that. I don't think it's a good barometer for this Colts team, how they perform. I just don't really believe in the Chargers as a team.
Yeah, I don't either.
Cowboys, Panthers. Panthers. Wow. Rico Dowdle getting his revenge back-to-back weeks with 200-plus yards on the ground. Dak Prescott, I think he's looking really good. I think he looks like a possible MVP candidate.
He does. He's been really good. Pickens had a monster game. They just, again, the difference in the running game. He got outrushed 216-31, and he still had a chance to win the game. But at moments, Bryce Young has looked good. He's had games where he's brought the team back or brought him to time. He had that game against the Chiefs last year where he got him tied late in the game. Carolina's 3-3. They feel like the worst 3-3 team I've ever seen, but they're 3-3 and they're 3-0 at home. So I don't really know what to say for Dallas. It's kind of like typical for them, but I think if you're a Panthers fan, like as bad as they've looked in a couple games this year, undefeated at home, and you just had a comeback win, and you just had your running back go for 183 and then another 56 in the air. So Carolina kind of very quietly has been a nice surprise this year.
Yeah, I mean, and the games they've lost, two of their losses were ugly, right, against the Pats and the
Jacksonville.
Jags.
Yeah.
But then they came back against Arizona, and then they've had a dominant win over the Falcons. They had a big comeback win over the Dolphins, and a last-second win over the Cowboys, which this Cowboys team has shown they're not a bad team. I don't think the Cowboys are a bad football
Cowboys
team
have been
here.
in every game, yeah. Wow,
they're middling. They're a middling team. They are middling. And this is encouraging. Then they have the Jets this week. It's very likely they're going to get over 500 going into the Bills game. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you can't afford to lose this if you're going to take a step.
Yeah, and the Bills, they're not the team that we thought they were at the beginning of the year. So we could see a good Panthers team right here. We very well could. Raiders, Titans. Raiders had to win one at some point, and Brian Callahan's gone. That's all I got.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. This was my lock of the week, though. For whatever reason, I just thought there's no way the Raiders could afford to not get one of these low-hanging fruit wins, and Tennessee got lucky to win last week. They're a mess. I don't know what to say about them, but I will say that when we were doing our little stats, I still find it funny that the last playoff game the Raiders have won in their franchise history was against Tennessee in January of 2003, the 0-2 season, the AFC Championship game. They have not won a postseason game since as a franchise.
I actually had a little bit of statistics on this game. Trying to find my little list here. Well, anyways, they have played the Raiders and Titans franchise. They have played 4 times in the playoffs in their history. And I think every game was decided by 17 points or more. And the Raiders are undefeated.
Yeah, the old Oilers it would have been, because the Titans and Raiders have only played once. That was in
The
'02.
Oilers and Raiders have played 3 times in the playoffs. Every single game was 17 points or more. The Raiders have rolled over the Houston, Tennessee franchise.
Yes, and big game. Not surprising, big game for Max Crosby. Pretty good day when you can not just sack the quarterback 6 times, but get 62 yards. I don't know if anyone takes longer sacks than Cam Ward, but geez.
I think I think the firing of Brian Callahan's the right move. He was a yes man for the franchise. I said that when he got hired. And I think Cam Ward, I still think he's the guy. I think it was important. This is an important year for Cam Ward to, you got to get your licks in. But I think whoever they hire is going to be there for a little while. I think he's going to be the guy that's kind of paired with Cam Ward. So I'm not excited to see that as a Colts fan and having to deal with them in our division, but I'm encouraged. I'll say that.
I can't believe it. When Bill Callahan working for his dad, that's weird enough, and he stepped down. And Amy Adams Strunk, not Amy Adams, the actress. I have no idea why she fired Mike Vrabel, and that's going to look even stupider when the Patriots wipe the floor with him this week.
Mike McDaniel, maybe he's a next Titans coach.
Maybe John Harbaugh.
There you go. 49ers Bucks. The Bucks put a team away early in the fourth. Who would have thought that could happen? Baker Mayfield again, just a dog. He goes out. He he does the Henry Cavill flexing the arms, getting the fists ready. But this Bucks team, this was what I wanted to see for me to believe in them, and I saw it. I believe in them now. They are able to put a team away. I mean, listen, you want to say what you want about the 49ers, but the Niners, that they were in first place. They had one loss for a reason. So good on the Bucks. You got the big win.
Yeah, first road loss for the 49ers. Jones put up the yards. It just drew a couple picks, but I am very happy for Baker Mayfield. I'm happy because number one, it just proves what a pitiful franchise the Browns are, that you could ruin, you ruin guys. The Jets, they ruined Sam Darnold. Look at him. I mean, Tampa Bay is
the
a
Giants
good team. They
ruined Daniel Jones.
They did, yeah. And Baker is doing it with they have a very thin receiving core, and he's still getting it done. He's running the ball. He's tough as nails. He's a guy you want to play for. I mean, if you're his teammate, I can't imagine. I don't know how the Browns teammates felt about him. I can't imagine they didn't like him. But this guy is, as you said, a dog. I don't know how else to describe it. The Bucks are really good, and they have just quietly been one of the most successful franchises over the last half decade. It's easy to say, well, they got Brady, and that's why they won the Super Bowl. But here's Mayfield. He wins 2 division titles. He's won a couple of postseason games. And the Bucks look like they're on their way to probably another division title this year. So, yeah, they get healthy and Baker can play like this. To me, they could be as good as anybody in the NFC.
Yeah, and I mean, he did this without Igbukah as well. They lost Igbukah in the middle of this game. No Mike Evans. Was there no Chris Godwin in this game?
We just haven't. Yeah, I don't think so.
Does he even exist anymore?
Passes. I don't know, but imagine not having those 3 guys.
Leading receivers: Cameron Johnson, Sterling Shepard, Cade Otton, Tez Johnson, who thought he was getting MVP chance after he had his 45-yard touchdown catch, his only catch of the game as well. He thought he was getting MVP chance from the crowd. Cameron Johnson and Cade Otton.
Cameron Johnson, Cade Otton, but K. Johnson, number 19. That was Keyshawn's number for the Bucks.
Yeah. Bengals, Packers. Joe Flacco woke up a little bit in the second half of this game. He made it competitive. Packers, this was what you wanted. This is what you're supposed to do, especially after a tough couple of weeks before the bye come out. You put the hammer down and you choke the Bengals out. Essentially, they did put up a fight towards the end, but they won this game pretty comfortably.
They did, but it took them about 3 quarters to really wake up. I mean, this was a 10-7 game going to the fourth quarter, but just kind of a grinded out, same score that they beat Washington by in week 2, but it's kind of just a grinded out. There hasn't been a moment this year after week 1 where I've been like, yeah, this Packer team looks like it can really throttle a team. I think that's one thing for me that's missing, is that their ability to really have like a big, big game. And so I want to see more from Jordan Love. Solid numbers. They ran it pretty well with Jacobs. This was a subpar team. Like, I want to see the Packers have a big game, where they dominate a team or where they beat a really good team. They did it against Detroit, I know. But they have Arizona coming up this week. That's one they should win. It's not going to be a game that is probably going to tell us all that much about the Packers, but we'll see when they go to Pittsburgh. Thanks.
Yeah. Lions, Chiefs. The Chiefs are what? Finish the sentence. The Chiefs are.
The Chiefs never went away. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. You know, they're not back. They didn't leave. They just started 0-2. Like because it's the first time that's happened. The Chiefs are it right there in the AFC. But you're going to have to play good football to beat them. I think anytime the Chiefs can run the ball effectively, that's where I would get worried as an opposing team. But they were, I don't know what it is with the Lions. You know, they've looked good at times, but if you think about it, they haven't really. Have they beaten anybody that good? I mean, they've lost to Green Bay. They lost to the Chiefs now. Beat the Ravens, beat the Browns. I wanted to kind of get on the Lions bandwagon as they started rolling them. Cincinnati. I mean, they did, but they haven't beaten anybody good. So I don't know if this was, the Chiefs being really good, or maybe the Lions are not quite what we thought they were. But for the Chiefs, yeah, I mean, they actually ran for 112 yards. So if they're going to run the ball, that's problematic. And Mahomes, I think he pissed off Brian Branch to the point that he unleashed that punch. Can't do that if you're Brian Branch, but I get why he was frustrated too.
He's got enough too on his like list of offenses. He's already been fined multiple times this year. So I mean, if you're Brian Branch, you absolutely have to keep your mouth shut and just walk away. What I saw, I'm sorry, that's just not acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable in any form. I said I understood his frustration, but there's no place for that. I think he could have gotten up in his face and said something, sure, but you just can't strike a guy in the head.
And then Zaire Franklin, Colts linebacker, who has been subpar, this year really, going on a podcast and his podcast and saying, "Oh well, Juju deserved it. Juju's an asshole." Blah blah blah. Like shut the fuck up. We play the Chiefs November 23rd. Shut the fuck up. Don't give them any bulletin board material. What are you doing saying that? Mm-hmm. This is the same guy who goes on his podcast every single time the Colts play the Texans and lose in a close game and say, we just need to see him again. We're going to beat him the next time. We just need to see him again. We've seen the Texans beat us in big games multiple times. Like, I'm tired of having to see the Texans again. Fucking beat the Texans. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's insulting. So I just don't understand these guys going in the media and giving a bulletin board material.
The only other thing I'll say for the Chiefs, I think they're a good, maybe really good team. They're not a great team, but you're going to have to play great to beat them.
Yeah. No, definitely. Bills, Falcons. I didn't watch any of the Monday Night Football games. I did my own little silent protest of double Monday night games. Bills, not so good.
No, I never thought they were that. I mean, think about it. They barely beat the Ravens, and at the time that looked like a big deal, and they beat down the Jets, but kind of whatever against Miami and New Orleans, and then they lose to New England, and now they get run over literally by Bijan Robinson, who's legit, man. This guy's really good. Falcons put up 443 and 210 round. I think the Bills have had issues with their rush defense in the past, and that's just not a good way to live. And for Atlanta, they're also a very quiet, like 3-2, because we just think, they got blown out by Carolina, and they lost that game late to the Bucs. Oh, typical Atlanta, and they ugly win over Minnesota, whatever. But here they are, they're 3-2, and Penix putting up solid numbers. Drake London 10 for 150. Like, their playmakers came out under the lights. So I think for them, it's a big step, and I think for Buffalo, I don't think they're elite. I think they're good. I think they still could win the AFC, but I don't see this being like this dominant team that the odds makers make them out to be.
Yeah, I think this was a game you had to rebound after the loss on Sunday Night Football. This Falcons team has a lot of question marks, and you really hope that the Bills would be able to keep those question marks looming. But, they didn't just lose. They lost by 10. Like, they lost by 2 scores. So That's just from what I saw from not even watching the game. And then Bears Commanders. The Bears win another game, 25-24. Didn't they do that week 5? They do that. Were they on the bye that week?
Well, regardless, Bears get their revenge on the Commanders.
Week 4, they beat the Raiders 25-24.
Oh, right. Okay.
So 2 straight games, 25-24. Can they do it again next week?
Yeah. I don't know. But the Bears, this is another team, a young team that's learning how to win. And Williams put together the drive to get them in field goal range. Swift ran well. I mean, this is good for the Bears, really good for the Bears. You're buying into Ben Johnson's system. They look like a much more competent, poised team. But I'd be a little concerned for the Commanders. It's like something's just not clicking totally for the Commanders. They just a couple games this year where they're is this? I know Mariota was playing one of them, but they kind of look lifeless against Green Bay, and then they give up this lately. Hard to sort of gauge where the Commanders are at. I mean, Daniels, again, he was pretty efficient. He had the one pick, but I'm not really sure what to make. Yeah, a fumble, yeah. But not really sure what to make, but I would just say if you're a Bears fan, you got to feel really good about where you're at, given what you've been.
If the Bears were 3-2, if you told Bears fans at the beginning of the year, you're going to be 3-2 by week 6, I think they would cream their pants.
And I think also, beating Washington. Right, and beating Washington, the team that ruined them, that started their misery last year, on the road on Monday night, and then they beat down Dallas. Not that that's saying that much, and they beat the Raiders, but they're winning games. They were 0-2. Yeah, on the road again.
Dallas says something.
Sure, and they have 2 road wins, so yeah. I think there's a lot to be encouraged about for the Bears.
Is this maybe the reverse of last year, where you look at this game for the Bears and say, this is where are we going to see a bit of a run here from Chicago?
Possibly, maybe, yeah. Or is this the reverse for the Commanders, where their season starts going south after losing this game late?
Last year, that game was also kind of the jumping off point for them, right? Where they went up after that Hail Mary. Bears have the Saints, Ravens, Bengals, Giants, Vikings, Steelers, Eagles. That gets you to December, basically. So somewhat of a soft schedule. You have some wins in there, like the Saints, maybe the Ravens, Bengals. That's probably a win. The Giants, I would say if you're a playoff team, you got to win that one. The Vikings, who knows who's going to be at quarterback there. Steelers and Eagles, those are tough ones, but you got some wins in there for the Bears.
Commanders, on the other side, they've alternated wins and losses in their next 4 games: Dallas, Kansas City, Seattle, Detroit. So they better figure this thing out.
Yeah. All right, let's go to pick week 7, then we'll get out of here. Steelers, Bengals, Thursday Night Football.
Steelers beat bad teams. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals won. This could be one of those Steeler exposure games. The spread's 5.5. I would almost take the Bengals on the spread. I think the Steelers will squeak by, but they're going to have to earn it.
I believe in Joe Flacco. I believe in him.
Hope you're right.
I completely and utterly believe I would trust Joe Flacco with my life. Just in general. I'm just saying that in general. Give me the Bengals here. I love the Bengals in this spot. Especially now Joe has like a week of prep. Here he's had some time to prep, even though it is a short week. Rams, Jags in London.
The Jags love London. They always play well in London. I'll begrudgingly take the Jags.
Yeah, I'm going to take them here too, especially the Rams have been – there's a lot of questions about this Rams team, and London is usually not good for teams who are questionable. So I think the Rams are a lot more questionable than the Jags right now. They have looked worse. The Jags have at least looked pretty good in some games. The Rams, when they looked their best, they lost to the Eagles, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm going to go with the Jags here. When have they looked their best? I guess against the Colts and the Eagles, those 2 games that they looked their best.
Right.
They were 1-1 in those. And the Colts had to give them that game. So Raiders, Chiefs, 1:00. The Chiefs in a 1:00 spot In Kansas City, they are 12.5-point favorites here. Raiders plus 12.5, but give me the Chiefs to win. Wow, this is a horrible game. Dolphins, Browns.
I don't know what to say. I feel like the Dolphins have got it. I don't know. God, they're horrible. I'm going to go the Browns. Screw it.
Patriots. I guess I have to make a pick. Give me the Dolphins. They've shown a little bit of life at times. Patriots, Titans in Tennessee, the Mike Vrabel Bowl.
Pats keep it rolling. Dysfunctional Titans with the new coach. Pats.
New England 6.5. Like them at 6.5.
I'll take it.
Me too. I like
yeah,
that. Like
yeah,
that a lot.
I'll take it. Won't blow them out, but I think they'll. Yeah.
Yeah. Panthers, Jets, Carolina 1.5-point favorites.
That seems low. Does somebody know something? Because I like Carolina.
You know, I think this is a nice little spot. Maybe Justin Fields comes out. He said he's going to be more aggressive. You know, they're going to take a more aggressive approach, which I like that. I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be like in London. But give me the Panthers. The Panthers are the better team right now. Saints, Bears in Chicago.
Bears, man. Bears. 4.5. That seems low. I'll take that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Bears as well. Rematch of the 17 NFC title game. Eagles Vikings, was that 17?
Mm-hmm.
Eagles Vikings
Is this Carson,
in Minnesota.
Carson Wentz against the Eagles?
Oh, I believe so.
I don't know. Philly's only 1.5 points. I fell for it last week. Guess I'll take the Eagles, but this one wouldn't shock me at all if Minnesota won. I'm pretty torn on it. I'll officially.
Carson Wentz fully participates in Vikings practice. JJ McCarthy is limited. That was 20 hours ago.
Okay. Maybe we get a high-scoring game in the Eagles. I don't know, though. I almost want to take the Vikings. Revenge game.
You know, this is like the perfect spot for the Vikings. Give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Vikings. Screw it.
Give me the Vikings. Colts, Chargers. One of the bigger games of the weekend, I feel like.
Colts can't lose again in that stadium, right? They learned their lesson. I'm taking them Colts.
I hope not, man.
You taking the Chargers?
I will take the Chargers. Sorry, I think for some reason the ESPN app sucks. Like whoever created the ESPN app, like this is fucking Disney. Get it right. Like why can't they get this app right? It's incredibly slow. It's just not good. That's what I was dealing with. Chargers are 1.5-point home favorites here. I mean, I'm gonna go the Chargers because that's my tradition. I think the Colts should win this game, right? I feel like they should.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Colts though, just to be the contrarian.
Giants, Broncos, Denver, 7.5-point home favorites here.
Well, I like the points for the Giants, but I'm gonna take the Broncos to win another ugly one.
This feels like a come down for the Giants for me. I feel like the Broncos need to go out and kind of win a big game here. Obviously, they are coming back from London, so you do have to take that into account. But I feel like this is a team you need to stomp on. Especially the Giants are riding high a little bit. I don't know if they're a 3-4 team. They might be a 3-4 team, honestly. But is Denver a 4-3 team?
Oh no, I think Denver wins this one. Yeah.
Denver 7.5 though. Yeah, give me the Giants plus 7.5, but Denver to win. Packers, Cardinals in Arizona, Green Bay 6.5-point favorites. I weirdly kind of like the Cardinals in this.
I do too. I actually do too. I don't know why. Just not totally sold yet on the Packers.
Yeah. Commanders, Cowboys, Washington 1.5-point favorites.
I weirdly like Dallas.
See that line, based on everything, I feel like the Cowboys should be favorites here, but they're not. So there's something weird. There's something going on there. I kind of like Washington to win this one here. Because they've gone back and forth. Like you said, they've alternated wins and their losses, they've looked bad. And I feel like that's what they're going to do all year. They're going to kind of trick you. They're trying to trick you. They're going to come out and they're going to win some games maybe you feel like they wouldn't win. So I'm taking the Commanders in this one. 49ers, Falcons in Santa Clara, San Francisco, 2.5-point favorites.
Ooh. I like Atlanta.
Don't know why.
just going against my natural instinct. I'm going with Atlanta.
The Falcons, again, they're one of those teams that, like, I just can't really gauge them. I feel like this is a good bounce back spot for the 49ers. I'm going San Francisco here. And I'm going to take San Francisco -2.5. Double Monday night again, although we do get the staggered starts. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think the staggered start is better. Or not the standalone for each start. It's 7 o'clock and then 10 o'clock. I know the 10 o'clock is a really late game. I would almost wish like a 6:30, 9:30 or a 6 and 9. Like I would almost rather have that than a set, because 10 is just too late, man. 10 is Lions at 7. Detroit is giving 5.5 here.
I like the Bucks. At least to cover. I mean, I don't know. Detroit just lost in prime time. Hey, they don't have Brian Branch. They got a pretty beat up. If they get some of those guys back on defense, maybe. I want to see what the Bucks receiver health situation is. Regardless, I'm just taking the Bucks with the points here.
Yeah, give me the Bucks to win. That is a big line for this Bucks team. This Bucks team is not a bad team. I know they're thin at receiver right now, but give me the Bucks, because Baker just gets it done. Baker has shown time and time and again he's going to find a way to win. He doesn't care about who he has. He could have me. They could call me up and say, "Hey, we need you to drive up to Tampa and play receiver for us."
That's how I feel about the Dodgers. Yeah, you just put me in their lineup, I'll get a couple of hits. But I do, but Igbuka, it sounds like he may not play. I still think the Lions may pull out a close one, but I'm more confident taking the points with the Bucks in this one.
Yeah. Texans, Seahawks, 10 o'clock. Seattle 3.5-point favorites. Texans.
Seattle's 1-2 at home.
They're not a good football team.
No, they're not. No, Seattle's got to win another home game because they started 0-2. I like Seattle. I think Darnold is, man, I didn't know he had the big money. Was he just a Kevin O'Connell guy or whatever? So Mike McDonald guy.
No, you're fixed.
I'm happy for him.
If you go to Kevin O'Connell, you're fixed. They fix, like, he is a quarterback fixer. He fixed Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Texans are kind of beat up. I love what Mike McDonald's doing over there. Better than Mike McDaniel, I'll tell you. Sure wish the Ravens still had him, but happy to see him doing well. Like I said, Seattle's just quietly going about their business, winning football games. Give him a chance in prime time now.
Yeah, give me Seattle here. All right.
Now, wait a minute. Monday night. So I was going to say that was the day after. That works out nicely that the Seahawks are playing Monday because the Mariners would be playing Sunday. Oh, I guess that game would be in Toronto anyway, so never mind. Well, it could be Game 7. A lot of people, a lot of conflicting things going on for Seattle sports fans.
What Game 7 would be Monday?
Monday in Toronto, though.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I would assume that game is going to start at 7, so it'll basically lead right into the Seahawks game. So that's honestly
8,
that is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Still, it's baseball. They could wrap up by 10:30, so you have a little bit of overlap. Get the double TV out. You can do that. Seahawks fans, Seattle sports fans, they can do it. They love their team. So,
yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching. We're going to wrap up there. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Draft America. Go check out Spring Hill Sports The Cycle episode releasing today. And we will see you next week. All right.